Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about the compromisation of heritage and destruction of the heritage by Africans, how African people destroy their own heritage. So we are going to look at some case studies in Greeks, let's say Mediterranean, including Egypt, as in South America, as well as in America. African people don't respect heritage of each other. I'm going to talk about the issue of Great Zimbabwe. When Zimbabwe got independence in 1980s, there was the issue of national monument like Great Zimbabwe was supposed to be used to build the nations, which the government distinctly did that. But the problem of Great Zimbabwe was that it was more like a Shona heritage. They were using Great Zimbabwe as a form of the Shona to appropriate it as a part of ruling Shona class. These things actually had impact on national identity of the nations, where many people in Zimbabwe, they felt like, no, man, we have been excluded in the new identity of Zimbabweans. People like Matebele and other tribes. That's why you find that Great Zimbabwe didn't have impact. So many people in Zimbabwe, they cannot identify themselves. They cannot associate themselves with the Great Zimbabwe because they feel like it's a Shona tribal agenda to advance the Shona political interest. So what you see in Zimbabwe, you are seeing the same thing happening in Limpopo province, where Mapungubwe issues. Mapungubwe issue was a Mapungubwe heritage. It's a heritage that is, in southern part of it's become iconic. But guess what? The politician I wanted to use Mapungubwe heritage as a form of similar tribal identities. Can you believe it? Now, when you study about Mapungubwe, you're not going to study about diverse cultures. It's about Sebula family now. Now, the question that we need to ask yourself, this is the national brand, government brand. Who's going to support it? Now it's become a Sebola brand, which means that many universities are not going to support it. I don't think there is any universities, maybe University of Venda, I don't think other universities are going to follow the issue of Sebola family to advance Sebola tribal interest. Imagine that thing could have been used to advance, the heritage of the nations. I mean, even the national orders. I can tell you in futures, they may review national orders. Nobody's going to use the national, orders for, not going to use the national heritage for tribal interest. Imagine that that thing was supposed to be like, because if you look at the bones that were excavated there, which shows that thing is not actually a Sebola people. Sebola people just move in a certain period. But now the politicians, what they're doing, they're using a national heritage of Mapungubwe to become a Sebola issues. Now these things will have negative impact on tourism, because people are going to say, no, it's a Sebola property. Sebola must go and involve in that things. What does it mean? It means that many tribes and groups are not going to visit the places now. They'll say Sebola must go and visit. Imagine the place like heritage of the nation, that Mapungubwe heritage must not be attached to tribal issues. It's supposed to be heritage of the nations. Politicians come in, they say, no, it's a Sebola heritage. Now because politicians, what they did, they already, it's their own. All right? It's no longer a heritage of nation. It's a tribal heritage. This will have a negative impact on those who want to do research on Mapungubwe, because they say, no, we can't go and advance Sebola properties. Nobody's going to advance Sebola tribal interest at the expense of cohesion. This is South Africa, things that happen like that. But why can't we learn from Greeks and Egypt? When you go to Mediterranean, the first thing that they tell you is that this heritage of Mediterranean belong to the nations. We trade with African, but now Mapungubwe become a Sebola things. University of Pretoria must be careful about these things, and they must be careful about these things that African are doing. University of Pretoria that had artifacts of Mapungubwe must stay away from that kind of thing. They must see it as a heritage of nation, which means that people who want to see that thing, they go to Pretoria's. But this is a betrayal, man. Just imagine black people behave that way. The heritage of the nation become a tribal heritage now. This is a very sad story. We are returning back to Great Zimbabwe. The majestic monument that have lost values. People don't visit Great Zimbabwe because they feel like it's a Shona. It's been appropriated by Shonas. The same thing is in Limpopo. Mapungubwe heritage become a Sebola family properties. The question is that who's going to visit it? They say, okay, it's a Sebola. Kilo Jabona, we're not going to visit that things. Just imagine this was the opportunity to create a national heritage. But politicians and their people, they say Sebola, I don't think they'll visit them. It's not like Kruger National Park. You see, when you visit Kruger National Park, it's a heritage of the nation. I am not from that side, but when I visit Kruger, I can see this is our national heritage. When I visit the beach in Cape Town, or feel that I can connect. This is our own heritage. But Mapungubwe, you don't feel that thing. You feel like it's a Sebola politician put Sebolas. This is a Sebola heritage. You could see like we are regressing, man. That thing was supposed to remain as it is. It's become a national heritage. But why would we behave that? Who's going to visit a tribal heritage? No, man. Remember the issue of Mapungubwe as a national heritage. But black politicians erase that history. They say, no, you have to go and study about Sebola families. The question, which university is going to support that kind of research, tribal research, in the post-apartheid Africa? But this is very shocking. Now, but you ask yourself, why don't you learn from Greeks, Egyptians, South Americans? You go to Woma Chapuchi. You go to Great Pyramids. The pyramids belong to the nations of Egyptians. You go to Greeks. Greek civilization belong to the nations. But most South Africa, Mapungubwe belong to Sebola family. The question is that who's going to visit that things? Mazulu, Maswazi, Matoza, Batswana, will they visit it? The answer is no, they're not going to visit it. It become a tribal issue. They already created what they call boundaries, them and us. Why would you go and benefit from that thing? I mean, let's try to be honest. What is going to benefit me as a person? That thing was supposed to be used as a national buildings. But black people choose another ways. Even whites were worse, were better. Why they make sure that it become a national asset of South African. But now, in the post-apartheid, politicians change directions. This is Sebola family. The question is that, where are they going to get tourists? If the vendor like Funduzi, place like Funduzi, Zata don't even have tourists. Where are they going to get tourists from Mapungubwe to go and support Sebola tribal heritage? The same challenge that faced Great Zimbabwe as a Shona heritage, they're coming to South Africa. That one was a very sad story in the human history. But we don't learn anything. My research doesn't show any tribal Bantus. Those people are mixed between Bantus. Now, black people appropriate that cultures. The question is that who's going to visit that? There's no much tourism in Venda. Place like Zata, Chipise, a Big Tree. What about Mapungubwe? They change, what they're doing? They change the brand of Mapungubwe from national brand to be Sebola brand. So the question is that who's going to support that brand? We're going to lose people from Boskukune, people from Botswana, people from Swaziland, Bokwandebele, they're not going to visit that thing because now the politician created impression that this is Sebola heritage. That's the problem of post-colonial Africa. When you deal with heritage, people rather go to the heritage that belong to the nations than tribal heritage. Can you believe how black people are? Black people, we still need education. Our education is very low. Anyway, that's what black do. They destroy their heritage. Now it's no longer a heritage of nation. Mapungubwe is a tribal heritage. Let's see what's going to happen. It's gone.